Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. And welcome to this beautiful, blessed Monday morning. Your Sunshine here with you as you step into the hottest spot in town, that is Sunshine's Corner. And as always, I'm trusting you had a wonderful weekend. And of course, we're about to start off another week on a positive note. And it gives me so much pleasure to be able to come here to share things that you may not be aware of so that we can continue that strong sports that I feel that knowledge is power. And today we're going to be talking about something that's so much important to our community that we've got to keep top of mind. But first of all, let me encourage you to tell somebody else to be a part of the hottest spot in town. And of course, I want you to be a part of the conversation as well. You can call us up at 850-432-7768. You can call or text that number and you will be in touch where you can have a comfortable place to sit talking about any conversation that's difficult. Because I do believe with everything that flows on the inside of me, if there's something that you need to be more aware of, to gain more knowledge, talk about it. You can't decide it on your own, just inside your head. And that's what we're going to bring to our attention today, because in our community, as you know, sickle cell anemia is strong in the Black community. And what we got planned for you is a conference that's coming up on October 12th that's going to take place at my good friend, Mr. Doug Baldwin, there at the hottest spot in town, what I call it, right there on Pace Boulevard, the Pensacola Improv Event Center. And I would like to say and welcome back to the set with us, Miss Allison, who is really a fighter because she has a daughter that is stricken by that disease as well. So you know on a personal basis what it does. And I want to welcome back my girl, Shaquansia, who is a fighter in this street with this every single day. We know without going on what somebody says, we know these things are for fact. Yes. Thank you ladies for getting up to come back in with us today.
Thank you for having us.
But of course, so we are trying to make sure that we educate our community on this terrible disease that really affects us in a way that I don't think the emphasis has been put on it that it should be, so that people will know. I'm talking about from the bottom to the top, so people will understand just what a struggle it is with this illness. I'm going to go with you, Allison, first of all, because you've got a lot of people we need to thank for help us put this event on.
Definitely.
I mean, that to say to God be all the glory, because it takes everybody to connect to get it on right. And then from there, we're going to go to talk about your daughter.
Yes.
And the fact of how it's important to you. And we're going to move on after that over to Shaquansia, who I know I've seen some of her struggles, and I know what she fights with every day. But coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact, it's this weekend. Tell us about it, Allison.
October 12th is the Know Your Status conference. It's sponsored by Pfizer Pharmaceuticals.
There we go.
Pfizer is in the news, but we want to bring it to the news for a positive light, because they are sponsoring this event for us, and they realize the importance of getting the word out and really knowing your status.
Most certainly. And a lot of people don't even know the status. They don't know if they have the trait of whatever it may be to get the whole, I put it like this, the whole football field, so you can make sure you hit the goal line. But let's talk about this as well. Let me say thank you to Pfizer for doing this for us, because of the fact there may be news. Always somebody's going to find something negative. I don't care what. So we're going to pull out the positiveness in this because of what they're doing to help bring awareness to sickle cell that needs to be noted, so that we can grow in this. Now, your daughter is what, 9?
Yes, she's
9 years
now.
old.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's been fighting this for
her whole life.
A whole life. Talk about that and why this is important to you, to have this doctor that's coming in from out of town to educate us on what we need to know about sickle cell.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, but we'd like to thank Dr. Artangela Henry. She's a doctor from Memphis, Tennessee, so she's coming all the way from Tennessee to do a symposium about understanding sickle cell disease. And you think, it's 2024 and you think but sometimes you have no idea, especially the stigma around a disease that they call a Black disease. And it's not a Black disease.
It's not.
You would think that in this age that we would know our status, but I didn't even know before I had my daughter. And that's how she was brought into this world, is I didn't know I had C trait. And I didn't know there were different types of traits.
Exactly. You see, I mean, I have to say, I got to say to Mr. Walter Wallace,
yes,
when I first got here in Pensacola, Now, I connected with him, and that's how I learned a lot about it, working with him on a lot of events that he did during the month of September.
Right.
And he educated me on a lot of things that I wasn't aware of. Morning, Mr. Walter. And but that I'm saying, just like you said, the seed trait. Let's talk about that, the different type traits. I think Kwanzaa can jump in on this as well.
Definitely.
I have sickle cell disease. So both of my parents had anemia. Both of my parents had the S gene. So sickle cell anemia is supposed to be considered the worst. But I believe anybody that has a disease, they're affected badly. So although both my mom and dad had the S trait, SS trait, that's how I ended up with sickle cell anemia.
Okay.
SS, yeah.
So you've got not just the trait, you've got, with your parents having the S,
Yep.
caused you to have the
Full things.
full-blown sickle cell.
Yes.
Now tell us some of the things you have to deal with.
Like this morning, like stress, rushing. So my back is currently bothering me. Daily pain. Sometimes it's pain that's unbearable to where it needs hospitalization. And then sometimes it's pain like I could get on, take my medication, stay hydrated, do what I need to do to get through the day. Plenty of blood transfusions that now have worked against me instead of for me.
The blood transfusion did?
Yes. So basically, we were not made aware when I was younger that not only if you get different blood from different ethnicities, that your body can only take so much of amount. So what happens is you build an iron overload. That's what it's called. And when your body has too much iron, it could shut down your major organs. So we're currently watching my iron level, and typically with sickle cell disease or the trait, you have low iron. Well, it's weird because like I have low iron because of the disease, but because of the blood transfusions, now I have too much iron in my blood. So now I take a medication called J-Nude to get rid of the iron in my blood.
Oh my God.
Because if I don't, then it could shut down my organs and I can go into renal failure.
Now you said different ethnicities. A mouthful. Now explain that.
So I was not educated that it's typically good to not only know your blood type, so you need to know your blood type, but it's best to get it within your race because every genetic is different. So from my understanding with my doctor,
so you're saying it's best that you get it from black?
Yes, from black people. So if you're black, you get it from somebody. You get it from somebody black. If you're Caucasian, you get it from Caucasian. But because there's such a blood shortage, because people don't donate enough, when we're in urgent situations, like when my hemoglobin is too low, I have to get it from wherever I can get it. And
so you will have to take the Caucasian blood?
I have to. Sometimes I have to because not enough of us are donating.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm learning something new
That's why
again.
they have blood drives the way they do, and it's important for people to go to these blood drives and donate, because if they're not, then I have to take whatever match with mine, because I'm O positive. So whatever match with my blood type, I have to take that. If there's no one, like my family members, it's to the point now I've had so many transfusions that my family members can't even give to me. So it's just at the point now, yes. It's to the point now I have to get literally, you're O positive.
I'm O positive.
See? So even
she could give you blood.
Give you blood.
Yeah.
Wow. You see how I'm getting educated again? Every time it's, I think when you just listen, you find out different things. Even from the time we talked several months ago,
Right.
I did not even realize that then. But that it has to be, it's better from your
ethnicity. Yes. Yes, it's better.
Unbelievable. But you see, this is why we're having this conference.
Yes.
You see, now that opened up my eyes. So what are we saying to you? The same, did you know that? Did you know we've talked, 10 minutes? If 10 minutes? Look at the knowledge that we've received. Did you know that? No, you didn't. Unless you are dealing with it every day. Yeah. And I say that's the purpose of Dr. Henry coming in from Memphis, Tennessee, to come to educate us so that we'll know. And I'm hoping that we can reach out. And I hope that some of the people that are viewing today, possibly even working with the hospitals, we want you to be there.
Yes.
I do have an announcement. We do have the American Red Cross. Her name is Shatina Nuoso. She is the sickle cell account manager in Birmingham. So she's coming all the way from Alabama to be with us, and she will be speaking as well. So that will be exciting because we'll have support from the Blood Services Division of the American Red Cross.
And then it can explain just how important it is that with those blood drives.
Yes.
And you see the great big red bus around here going through town all the time. As a matter of fact, when I was on my way in today, it was almost out in Cantonment. I said, well, they're going early this morning. But it's somewhere they're taking donations so that this will happen. But now let me ask you a question. I'm going to be very transparent. With this, with sickle cell, even with your daughter, with yourself, even when you are, if you have to go to the hospital, when you say that this pain happens frequently, that you may need these transfusions or whatever, is there a shortage, and are they aware of what we need to do to fight this? I'm talking about the physicians, the doctors.
Not all the
Let's
time.
be real. The only way you can fix something, you got to talk about it. Because if you keep it shut up your hand, who's going to fix it if they don't know?
Right.
Do you hear what I'm saying? So what are we doing here? We need to get more people that are into the health fields here. There's several here that maybe they should consider being at this to learn more so they can help, because this is deadly disease. Am I wrong?
You're so right.
Okay, well, that's what I'm talking about. So let's talk about these things. Let's put it out there. It's going to kick off. It's not going to take all your days from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. So look, you ain't got to be, if you want to go somewhere afterwards, you're fine. It's on the screen right about now. That's the old flight, but that's okay. You're going to be there because Know Your Status Conference 2024, Pensacola Improv Event Center, 375 North Pace Boulevard. Doug, good morning, and thank you too. So look, Dr. Henry is coming in. We've got a young lady coming in from Birmingham, Alabama. So what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, now the capacity is that we're looking for how many? How many you want?
As many as we can.
Fill it to the rim.
Fill it to the rim.
But limited seating, they're sponsoring at least 75 people. So
I got you.
yes.
So look,
for dinner, you get
for dinner. Now, if you want to bring your hamburger,
no. Bring your own.
No.
We'll have plenty.
Let me see. BYOB, bring your own burger.
No.
Just see, at least I made you laugh. However, we're talking about something that's utterly important that's coming up this weekend, and I want you all to make sure that you're there. That I'll tell you more about that when we come back. But let me say thank you for our sponsors that's coming up for the walk that's going to take place on October 26th, and that's why I'm wearing pink today. I'm going to try to wear something pink every single day throughout the month of October, because this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let me say thank you to those who are walking with us, our sponsors that's going with us this year. And that will be Mr. Ron Helms from District 4. Thank you, Ron, for doing that for us. As well as we've got Sonny's Barbecue and Stallworth Insurance Company. And you know what? I appreciate the fact that you all jumped on board with us so that we can make a difference right here on Sunshine's Corner.
As we come upon this election, it's important for everybody to get out and vote. It is critical. Voting is the cornerstone of our democracy. It lends a voice to everyone, to the people, to make sure that America is the society that we want it to be, that everybody wants it to be. If you don't get out and vote, you really don't have anything to complain about. My name is Troy Rafferty, and I want to encourage everybody to just vote.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sunshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sunshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
I vote because my mother voted. She was 40 years old, and I was 20 when she first voted. She said, Mamie Lee, take me to the registration office or wherever I need to go so that I can register to vote. So I vote for that reason, and I want everybody else to vote. Don't just talk, you gotta walk it like you talk it, and when you walk it, you are voting. So vote. I'm Mamie Webb Hickson, Director of the Writing Lab at the University of West Florida. Just vote.
It's the hardest conversation I have with patients, telling them that their baby won't make it. And now, because of Florida's extreme abortion ban, I also have to tell them I can't help. The ban forces women to wait until the brink of death to get care and could send doctors like me to prison just for treating my patients. That's terrifying. And it's why I'm voting yes on 4, to end the ban so government can't stop women from getting life-saving care.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner on this Monday edition. We were just talking about this beautiful weather outside that we're having in Pensacola. But let's not forget about those people that are somewhat more down south that's going to be experiencing some really brisk weather this week, because let's say thank God, because that we have been spared here lately. There have been several storms, but we have been truly spared. And my prayers are going out. And I don't want us to just say we're going to pray, really pray, because we really need this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be a rough storm. Now, we were talking about the fee and everything for the program coming up this weekend. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so our warriors and our caregivers and our healthcare professionals are all complimentary. So you'll have dinner, you'll have everything included. We do ask for general admission tickets. There'll be $25, but just consider it a donation, and you'll still get fed as well. So,
oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
So say that again, so they don't miss that.
You'll get fed.
I mean, I think he heard me. He gave me his whole bag.
And it's a full dinner, full dinner.
Exactly. But all we're asking is this, ladies and gentlemen, to do this. Thank you very much, guys. They put that camera on me time I wouldn't got this paper. But what we're asking you to do is to make sure you come out this weekend. That's a very small price to pay for what you're learning and what you're going to be receiving. And plus, that's going to be food included, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's not let $5 keep us away. You take $25, go to McDonald's, you ain't got enough to pay for the whole family meal.
Preach.
There you go.
Okay,
And
that's
I'm
what we're talking about.
And it's family friendly.
And
as
it's
well.
family
Yes.
friendly.
Yes.
I mean, that's a great thing. And I want to look at the fact, because when we met back here, 4 or 5 months ago, if that long, the connection there that we have talked about, the thing that's going to be done and what we're working on doing is amazing. And your fight with that, I want you to tell the people about the fact that the things that you were telling me before, if I remember correctly, even with your daughter at 9, that she has to deal with, so they can see the severity of this illness.
Yes,
Please.
definitely. I've had situations in the past, even locally, where the doctor will walk in and they'll say, "Oh, so you're a crier."
You're what?
You're a crier.
Fire.
Oh, really?
Downplaying what's going on. I've had them come in and explain about level 10 pain versus 1 pain, and they're like, the example was given, imagine being hit in the head with a hammer. That is 10 pain. When have you experienced that? And my daughter said confidently, with no hesitation, this morning, today, yesterday. That's why we're in the hospital. This is during admission. And I think that, even with any age, that they just don't understand what is happening to your body, your organs, your tissue. There's damage that's happening.
Absolutely. So if there are people that are viewing today, if you've experienced this, come let us hear some of the stories that you've had to dealing with this deadly disease. I believe that because once we talk about this, and don't be, I try to encourage people. If there's something that you need to talk about, don't hold it on the inside.
That's right.
Don't be the person that's afraid to talk. Say what's on your mind. Speak what's on your mind. It's the only way you're going to get something done about it. Otherwise, you're settling.
That's it.
And when you are going to settle, what does that improve? Nothing. It stays the same. And if you can't talk about it, please, I don't want to hear you complaining about it.
Come on here.
Okay, all I'm saying is that because this is a deadly, deadly disease. And yes, I'm going to say this because I don't hear it talked about as much as you do other things. And I don't want to, and I pray to God it's not because they try to label it, because there are Caucasians who deal with the same thing. And it may not be talked upon as much because of the lack of what we're receiving. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
That could be the reason why. So we got to break that stigma in so many ways. And I tell you, I thank God I don't have sickle cell in my family. However, I do think about those who do, because it could have been my family. So what am I saying to you ladies today? And what am I saying to you, Kwanzaa? Because I've seen you have hospital stays that have been quite some time.
Long time.
And all I'm asking is that for us to make sure that we support this event that's coming up this weekend so that you can learn. Do not have the knowledge put there before you and you don't want to get it because it costs $25.
Yes,
but do you not know that these other people that's coming in from Tennessee, Birmingham, other people that's going to compensation?
Right.
I mean, to get this building, compensation?
Right.
To get everything, nobody wants to give it to you free because, this is not Doug has a for-profit business. Now, he does a lot of things in the community. Hear what I'm saying. So what am I pleading to the community for is this: do not stay at home or say, well, I'm not going to that because I don't have that. And I know how it is when you the pocketbook may be tight, but when there's something you want to do, you do it, right? Please. That's why we're talking about Saturday.
Yes.
And it's absolutely. Tell me more about Dr. Henry, because I never met her.
Yes, she is an advocate for sickle cell disease. She's been working in the field for a very long time, and she's our keynote speaker. She's actually working with Pfizer. They call it a key opinion leader, and so she is the best of the best of the best.
Okay, has she had it? Does she? She's just one of the fighters for it.
She's one of the fighters for it.
Okay,
and has been for a very long time. We'll talk more about her throughout the week, and hopefully get her to do like a video or something.
Please, that would be great. Send it to me. She does. Because I can insert that on during my show. And I see also we have Mr. Ortez. What's his first name? I don't want to mess him up.
Ortez. Oh, you talking about DeCarlo?
Yes.
Yes. Ortez to DeCarlo.
Yeah. That was cute.
Yes, Mr. Garcia, he is our vice president of We Reign, of the organization, and so he has some things he wanted to get off his chest as well regarding our community. And he's our he's our, I don't want to say bulldog, but he's our guy to really bring everything, tie everything in and bring it home.
Absolutely. That was when you say, who? Or what? Did you see that, Fred? And but what we're pleading for today is for you to please be a part of this. And let's talk more about sickle cell. I mean, open it up so people can see the daily struggles that you have, to understand why this is so important to you and to the community. You as well, Kwanzaa. Let's talk about those things. Tell people more, because if we don't open up our mouth, I can only go so deep because I don't have the trait. I don't have it. But you're dealing with it every day. Tell some of your struggles, like you said today when you got up.
Well, I don't want to say any names, but me and her were just dealing with a situation this weekend with a patient. She was being mistreated based on a pain medication. With sickle cell disease, and when you have crisis, they have strong pain medication you got to get, and this stuff is really strong. So a lot of these doctors and nurses as well are not knowledgeable in the pain medication, so they'll withhold medication from you, or they won't give you the right amount. So then you got people like Allison, who's a blessing, that have to call and advocate on your behalf, because sometimes you're so much in pain, so sick. Like I know personally myself, when I'm in the hospital, I don't want to talk on the phone. I don't want to be bothered. The pain is unbearable. I've been through toothaches. I've been through childbirth. There's no comparison to sickle cell pain. None.
Okay, now you said that you have to fight to get the medication done.
Yes.
And that meaning?
That means everything. I mean, you have to sometimes fight for a blanket. I've done that in the past. So I want to shout out Sickle Cell Medical Advocacy Inc. It is a nonprofit based out of Orlando. Dr. Simone Uwan is the mastermind and president of that organization. She provides training, and so I took her training over a year ago. To do patient advocacy, and so we are healthcare navigators is what we're called now, and so we have at least 4 in this area that are certified and trained and HIPAA certified. And so what we do is we advocate for the patients. It could be anywhere in the country. We just make sure they have their paperwork in so that we can advocate for them. But like she said, this last week, few days actually, because we had to follow up. We had to make sure that the correct amount of medication was administered, because the doctors will say, well, you've had this for 24 hours, and then they'll discontinue the medication before reassessing, or they'll give you not enough and you won't be able to break through the pain. If you give me the same amount of pain medication that I had at home, I wouldn't have had to come in here in the first place.
I got you.
So we need to break through the pain and then get it under control, and then you're on your way to healing.
So therefore, if you're an advocate that fight for that, so when a person
they're not doing it,
they're not doing well, they can call you. Then you take the next step to the doctors to let them know.
We have a process, yes, ma'am.
Okay, the process is what I'm saying, the show.
Yes.
To get that person help. So there are, then there are ways that we can, but like, for instance, I didn't know that there was a team that does that.
Yes.
You see how we're learning every day?
Absolutely.
This is why I'm asking everybody to please come out so you can find out. When we say know your status, that can be from knowing who to call.
Yes.
I mean, status does not mean that, okay, let me get tested. Let me find who I have to train. It's a whole lot that goes along with that. So do not neglect because she can't just keep bringing this back every month, because it takes funds to do that. And that's why we're asking everybody. I hear so many people, but be transparent, Sonshine. I hear you talk, but then when I ask you to talk, you won't. If you understand what I'm saying. Now, and if you got something to say that's going to help somebody, speak it. If you're a person that has a family member, then say something.
That's it.
As Michelle Obama would say, just do something. Don't just sit there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do that. That's with everything. And if we've got this illness that we've been fighting for so long and still it's not being done or handled right, there's a link we got to make sure it connects.
Exactly.
So that we can make sure that we get what we need, if you understand what I'm saying. It's not going to come to the front door and say, okay, here I am. It takes work to do it. And I want to be that person that's going to stand for, to get the word out so that they can do it. And you have so many things that you talk about. You know, when I say 9 years old and she's in school, the teachers are aware how to handle her, how to do.
They are now. The ones that she's with now, I've placed her in a school there. I know they understand what she's going through, and they listen and they trust her. And I think that's a big part is listening to our warriors and listening to the children, adults as well. But the children, you know, people say, well, you're okay, and they may not be. I was like, you need to call me. If she says she's in pain,
Call me.
Let me know.
Exactly. Let's
Yes.
go to the phones and see who we've got here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Sunshine. How are you and your guests doing this beautiful Monday morning?
We are absolutely great.
I have a question for your guests. I wanted to know if they know of anybody that has maybe went to Congress to speak on behalf of individuals with suicide, or have they, in their groups, have talked about, you know, coming up with some type of amendment or something that will help them out when they do go to, like, the healthcare providers and stuff like that, when they really need help. And now they have Congress on their side supporting them.
We have lawmakers that have been trailblazers as far as getting this information out there. I know that there in down south there was a bill that was introduced, and it actually got shut down, about continuing education for our physicians in our hospitals. So we're still going to continue to push that as much as we can. And locally, Representative Pat Maney in Okaloosa County, he is showing interest, but we need everyone to be on the same page as far, and that's a part of knowing your status and knowing the information as a lawmaker of how this affects your community, because we don't want to be forgotten. But it definitely needs to go up the chain. I know that there's President Biden had spoken about it, as well, but we just need more support.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do, maybe I think what he's asking is we're going to fight a bill. We're going to make sure we can take it all the way to the president. And so we can get this day that you know that's what you got to do with this.
It's election season. So
it's election season. We hire them. Stay with us. We're going to talk more about that when we come in. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
For calling in with that question. That was a great question.
Thank you. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right, bye-bye. Everybody, what we're talking about today is sickle cell anemia. Do you know your status? Have you been tested? Do you know? Well, I'll tell you what you can do. Do you have all the answers for it? No, we don't have all the answers, but we can answer some of those questions that you may have at the top of mind. All you got to do is join us on Saturday at 375 Pace Boulevard. There at my good friend Doug Baldwin at the Pensacola Improv Event Center. And we are going to have some very powerful speakers there to educate you on the things that you need to know about sickle cell anemia. Make sure you join in with us. Your Sunshine, and of course, Sunshine's Corner, looking to see you.
You finally found the perfect car in Racing Blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if auto owners make sense for you.
Keep going. More.
Florida's near-total abortion ban outlaws abortion before many women even realize they're pregnant. The ban means many survivors of rape, incest, and human trafficking will be forced to carry their attacker's child against their will. Get the truth about Florida's near-total abortion ban.
Voting is important to me because I often think about my grandmother. It was a struggle for her to go downtown to become ready to vote. Now things have been made different because of their sacrifice. People work very hard to take your right to vote. I want you to work very hard this year to exercise your right to vote. You owe it to the future generation that's coming behind us. My name is Marcel Davis, and I want to encourage you to just vote.
Florida's near-total abortion ban has no real exceptions for rape, incest, or the patient's health. This dangerous ban puts the lives, health, and future of women in Florida at risk. Get the truth about Florida's abortion ban.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner, this Monday edition. Hopefully your day is started off. It's Monday, guys. You know you got to put it in first. You got to really push it. We all, you got to do it. But we got to talk about what we're talking about here today is sickle cell anemia. And your corporation is Re-Reign Sickle Cell. That is great corporation. Who came up with that name? You did?
Sounds technically, yes, because my daughter's middle name is Rain.
Oh,
R-E-I-G-N. I see a lot of foundations, created after the passing of a warrior. However, we wanted to do it before.
Oh, no, come on! I see where you go. Don't say that, okay?
No, we all gonna leave this earth
one day.
So we want to enjoy it now.
Let's talk about this. You were talking about something we was talking about off camera just a moment ago. You really got to go deep on this. You even said something about with the seasons. With the weather, there's a difference in how it affects you. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, last week we talked about our friend that I had to advocate for, and I think it was at least 3 or 4 personally that I knew that were in the hospital last week. So with seasonal changes, we don't have the data to support it, but if everyone is going through something at the same time, there must be some truth to it. And so seasonal changes creates an environment where they're in pain.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Extreme weather conditions.
Okay, you've experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it.
So like, I personally don't like winter. One of the things that cause crisis is extreme weather conditions. If it's too hot, you can get dehydrated. It can trigger a crisis. If it's too cold, it can cause you to can trigger a crisis. It doesn't matter what season it is. You literally, as a patient, feel it in your body.
I hear you. Wow.
Literally feel it. Stress can cause a flare-up. It's having an infection. That's why I can't be around sick people. When kids get sick, I be praying like, Lord, please don't let them bring it home.
Really?
Because an infection can cause a flare-up. Anything can cause us to have a flare-up. Literally anything.
Wow.
And then I don't know if you know, but sickle cell is actually considered terminal. The life expectancy is 50. To God be the glory. I've been hearing older, like I'm in sickle cell groups where I've seen 60, 70. It's a blessing to live, but it's been a lot of, I call it medical malpractice going on, where a lot of warriors that are 20, 30 years old are dying because they're neglected in the hospital and not getting the proper treatment because there's not enough education in the hospital.
Wow. Okay, so how are you going to fight that? If they're not getting the education in the hospital with this that you have, if you are aware of this, what are we going to do to make that knowledge, to get that knowledge in those places where we see that we're losing people?
Well, with Re-Reign, we started for the educational purpose and advocating for the patients. Going to the individual doctors and going to the hospitals, going to the emergency room. All of those things are very important. So getting in their face and saying, hey, we need you to understand the updated guidelines. The guidelines have been updated, and then it goes further than that, listening to the patient. Treating the patient, not the disease.
Now, you said it's number 1 where?
Number 1 in the state of Florida. The state in the entire country. Florida is number 1 as far as sickle cell patients. The numbers, over 9,000 are affected by it, and the numbers probably more because that was just Medicaid eligible numbers that was collected. There's no national registry, so those numbers are obviously going to be skewed. But Florida is number 1 in sickle cell cases in the country.
Really?
Yes.
So how can we work on this if we know that it is number 1? What fight can we fight
prevent it.
To get this out there, to educate whomever it is that needs to be educated. I believe we can do more in numbers.
Yes.
And sometimes it can take an individual fight too, that you can take this thing and just fight, take it all the way to the top. There has to be that attention that's drawn to it. Have you thought about that? I mean, working it that way? Because if you're number one in the country, come on. Somebody's dropping a ball somewhere. Number one in the country?
Right.
And then you got over 9,000 cases here in Florida? That's a huge number.
Well, we need to talk about it in our
That's
in our
what
families.
I'm coming about.
Within our families and within the community. A lot of us try to, we deal with things at home. We deal with things privately, and you can keep that confidentiality, but we need to know the numbers. We need to know who you are, where you are, what issues you're having, so that it's not just one. It's not just exceptions. It's now we understand that it's a general rule.
Right. Okay, I'm going to use a ugly comparison, right? Remember when AIDS hit hard? You see how AIDS was everywhere?
Yes.
That was a terminal disease.
Yes.
But now they're saying that they got ways that can keep you alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm saying that if sickle cell is out there, this is a terminal disease. Why aren't we working? Why is it so difficult to get people to be on board to make sure and I don't want to hear it said that because it's a black disease, because they tried to say in the beginning that AIDS was a black thing, but it's not a black thing. So what is it, the avenues that we can do to get that stigma out for people who are suffering with it every day, for the people that you're having to fight for every day? Do we need to write a letter to Congress? Do we need to go to the places where they go to Washington D.C. and stand before the Congress and talk?
Yes. All of the above.
All of the above.
Yes,
so how can we do this? I want to see you on TV fighting for it. Tell them what it is about it. So what's the process you think that we get them to do? Number one, come to the event Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes, and we'll have all the information and how to contact your House representatives, your senator, your governor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have all that.
Absolutely. So don't just settle for anything. Fight for it.
Yes.
Anything worth having, you got to fight for it.
Yes.
And sure, there can be some negative things going on, but let's turn that negative into a positive.
Yes.
Let's turn that negative into a positive so that we can get results, because two negatives going together, you're not going to get anything. So if we can get this negativity out to teach and educate people on the importance of what we're dealing with on a daily basis, change has got to come. It has to come. And the fight for us doing that, even with the hospitals, you say that where people are being neglected, we got to stop that then. And the only way we can do it, we got to fight. We got the power. We got to fight the power to get what we need to make sure that the community, for the young babies like yours. And my heart just hurt when you said, because she's only 9, and the trauma that she goes through on a daily basis with this illness, and so that are they afraid because when they come to the doctor that they think they're trying to get a drug to get a high?
Yep, that's what it is. You hit the nail on the head. You sure did.
Really? So with the lack of knowledge, they don't want to give it to. Is it maybe they're afraid that you'll get addicted?
That's the excuse that they give, but they know that sickle cell is exempt from the pain management, the addiction. I'm not sure the correct terminology for it, but they don't have restrictions. So you're not going to lose your license. You're not going to, be under any kind of scrutiny if you give them what they need to break through that pain.
And you can look at their chart. Some of them won't even look at patients' chart. They go simply off what they want to do, not medical, but simply, I'm not comfortable with doing that.
So have you experienced that?
Oh yes, God.
Fight it. Take it to the top. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
When you go through that, then fight that thing.
Yes.
Then fight it. So that if you know somebody did that to you, may not feel good, but get that phone. We on the phone 99% of the time. Document.
Right.
Documentation. Take it to where it needs to be so that you won't have to say, okay, I need this, and I need this, you're not going to give it to me. Because we got to have something to back us up when we're fighting.
Exactly.
Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Documentation. Take it to where it needs to be so that when a person is ill, that person that called you this weekend, that need the medication, we got something to stand on, and then we can get over this hurdle of people dying and suffering in pain. Right. Turn that negative into a positive.
And speaking of that, I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
Get your affairs in order. We all, like we said, we're going to leave one day.
Absolutely.
Make sure you have your, because we can't get life insurance.
Oh, you can't get
for
life
warriors.
Insurance with sickle cell.
They're not eligible for life insurance. So we need to address these issues.
Yeah. You can't get life insurance, not with sickle cell.
We need to address it. Yes, ma'am.
So what you have to do you go to the home and get a pre-planned funeral or something like that? You have to start early to take care, because like we say, we don't want to talk about death, but death is inevitable.
Yeah.
We'll put here to die.
We're
all going to leave. So we got to have something in order. So do you find, whereas with the people, if they're suffering with that, do they have the funds to do it?
No, there's GoFundMe's posted.
That's why it's out.
Oh my God, and I hate to see those GoFundMes. I hate that.
I hate it.
That bothers me when I see that. Okay, so we also want to push the fact that prepare, pre-planning, and there are ways that you can pre-plan so that you won't have to go with that GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that breaks my heart when I see that. Some people, I know some things happen and when it's unexpected, but I'll say something. I won't say this. Plan. Pay for it. You can't go even there free. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't go there free. And they're not going to keep you in the refrigerator. I'm being real. So we got to work on these things to make sure, and that's why we're educating you on the things that you need to know. I had forgotten that you did say that before, that you cannot even get life insurance. So that's a struggle right there in itself. So all of these things compound together to get people to understand the importance of knowing what sickle cell is, what sickle cell does, what the things that we cannot have, so we can prepare. So while I go to the doctor, you can help me so that I can get myself together to go work, to go pray for that pre-plan without being in pain. Or am I on the right road?
You're right.
I mean, I think she ain't feeling good today because she ain't talking much. She ain't, you know.
No, it ain't that. I'm just letting y'all talk.
No, give it to me. Talk to me. Tell me stuff.
Well, medically, I feel like this with sickle cell. We had an instance where a girl, I don't want to go too in detail because it's still being dealt with, but she went on Facebook Live, had security in her room, was sick and needed assistance. We went on a website, I personally did, on the hospital's website to try to go up corporate and all that. They went on a website, wiped everything out. They wiped everything out to where we couldn't leave no bad reviews on there about the young lady that passed.
This. Nobody can wipe it off but you. This. Documentation.
Right.
Take it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There are so many ways. They may document it if you got the time, the date, and you can video anything.
Right.
I mean, you drop it like it's hot. See a lot of that.
Well, she went. That's what I'm saying. She went live on Facebook, and the thing went viral. It went viral on Facebook, showing the mistreatment, and we all were fighting it for her. She passed away in Texas. Texas is a bad spot for any sickle cell patients. At this point, I would tell no sickle cell patients to move to Texas. But we tried to fight. I'm talking about even to the point the consortium got involved, and they found every way to knock it.
Keep
when
fighting.
I say, we have to keep fighting. You got to think about it. T-Boz got sickle cell. She got more moved than us, but there's that resistance because of what we said earlier.
Because she black?
Yeah, black disease.
Say it. Don't be afraid to say it.
Because of black disease. I truly feel that. Any other disease gets celebrated, looked at. September, I ain't hear nothing. Did you?
Well, we created our own buzz.
But
there was a little buzz going on here. There was a few things that went down.
It's just one of those diseases that we could fight and set up for her baby, but this been going on for years.
And that's what we got to do.
Exactly.
We have got to stop it. That anything worth having, you got to fight for it. So we have got to fight for this sickle cell disease. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that we are also fighting with breast cancer coming up on October 26th. I want you to join me there at Seville Square, 8 o'clock in the morning. I want to say thank you to Mr. Ron Helms of District 4. Thank you for supporting this, as well as Stallworth Insurance. Thank you so very much. And a great big shout out to Sunday's Barbecue. My guy, I appreciate you so much right here at Sunshine's Corner.
Florida Constitutional Amendment 4 will save women's lives and protect their reproductive freedoms. It ensures doctors can provide life-saving emergency care to women. 65% of Floridians support abortion rights, and Amendment 4 was put on the ballot following a citizen-led initiative. Despite this, politicians in Tallahassee approved a draconian 6-week abortion ban, which denies women reproductive freedom. Stand up for women's reproductive rights. Stand up for democracy. Vote yes on Amendment 4 this November.
Gilmarine, your one-stop shop for all your boating needs. We offer a vast selection of parts, accessories, and electronics. Discover our range of used boats in every size, shape, and brand, all ready to get you on the water today. And we provide expert advice and top-notch customer service to ensure you have the best boating experience. We service all outboard, inboards, stern drives, jet drives, and personal watercraft. Our certified staff will get you back on the water. Visit Gilmarine at 3541 West Fairfield Drive, Pensacola.
Let's work together to end breast cancer. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Black TV and Sunshine's Corner, we're joining this year's annual Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk, and we want you to join us. Making Strides is happening on Saturday, October 26th, Seville Square, 8 a.m. A big thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. And we can't end breast cancer without you. I'll see you there.
My father told us he paid the cost to be the boss, which meant whatever he told you to do, you better do. So we were told you must vote. He would sit us down at a round table and go over the reasons why you needed to vote, why it was so important, that he fought for us to make sure that we could vote and that we were to fight for ourselves and for his grandchildren.
My name is Jill Lewis-Staggs. I am the state committee woman for Okaloosa County, and I'm here to tell you, just vote.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner on this Monday edition of Sickle Cell Awareness, Sickle Cell Disease, and the conference that we've got coming up on this weekend there at the Pensacola Improv Event Center. Again, I say, where can they get the tickets? Do you have to get this? Well, how can you get your tickets?
Yes, there's multiple ways online. There's a QR code on the flyer. Our website, www.wereignSCC.com. Anything We Reign SCC, and RAIN is REIGN. You can find it online, but it is through Give Butter, which is a fundraising platform we decided to use for this.
Give Butter.
For ticketing.
I
Give
like
Butter.
that. But look, if you go to my Facebook page, you like it, it's right there. That code, that screen right there, you can get that and go and get your ticket. So please, don't let it be said that you didn't know how, because we're going to let you know. Now, I want to say this, and I'm going to turn around even more, because I want you to not be afraid to say what's really happening. If it's happening, then it's real. If we hold it on the inside, nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
Because you're fighting that battle just on the inside yourself. Right. That's me, myself, and I.
Right.
But if you've got experiences that have harmed you, that needs to be known.
Say it.
Talk about it, Kwanzaa.
Well, I was just talking to Sonshine and telling her I'm one that I prefer not to go to the hospital. And normally when I go, I'm going when I'm in dire straits, ICU type situation.
Why do you wait so long?
Because 80% of the people in there that's supposed to take care of us neglect us.
Okay.
They withhold medication, like I was saying earlier. Sometimes you'll be waiting 2 and 3 hours for medication that you're supposed to get an hour ago. A lot of these, can I be honest, we need more Black people in healthcare, nurses, doctors, because it boils down to education. A lot of these people are not educated about sickle cell disease and the treatments that come with sickle cell disease and treating the pain. That's the big thing, the pain. People have it's like a bad thing against the pain and certain medications with the pain. And like you said, some people can't get addicted, but there are medications that they have to stop that from happening.
So is there is there a medication that you can take daily?
Yes, like I'm on medication.
Like that will help that to reduce the pain.
Yes.
Question: if you're taking that medication every day to reduce the pain, so when a flare-up comes, you never know when that flare-up is going to happen.
It just happens.
But it's intense pain. Is there a way that they can track your medication?
Yes.
To see that flare-up that you're having is something that really happens with sickle cell. But what I'm trying to ask, though, if you're running into difficulties with that, how are we going to get to these doctors and these people who, is it because of just a lack of knowledge? Do you think they don't care? Or what do we need to know to let them know, even though we are on medication every single day of our lives, there's sometimes a flare-ups that we cannot control that puts us into more intense pain. Now I need you to give me some morphine or whatever the case may be.
Well, I know I had a situation where the nurse was only a nurse for 2 years, and she told me, so I have a pain medication to take at home, and he get the IV medication at the hospital. I'm be this transparent. So she was giving me my home medications, but they call it breakthrough medication, which is the IV medication. She said she was not comfortable giving me my medication I take at home plus medication at the hospital. So she decided she was going to withhold for an hour, although it was in my doctor orders that you can give it to me.
Okay.
It was in the orders and gave permission that she could give it to me, but she wasn't comfortable with giving me the medication. So what did you do to fight that when you had to back up? I went over her head, me and my aunt did.
Okay, what did you get though? What I'm saying is, what was the outcome when you went over her head to stop this from happening?
It took a day or two, but they end up changing it. They end up changing the medications, and they end up removing her off my case. Because I don't know if patients know it or not, but you can't fire your nurse and doctor and swap out. If it just gets that bad, you can fire the person that's over you and get a new person.
Okay.
Yes.
You've experienced that too?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes. Which unfortunately is more of the norm now, and that's why it needs to be at the forefront that the emergency room personnel, the doctors, the nurses, they need to know the standards, they need to know the records, they need to know the history of the patient, and they need to listen to the patient.
Question: when you got your primary care doctor, when they know what you're dealing with, and if there's a case that you've got to be rushed to the hospital, can it not be that your primary care kind of step in?
No.
Why won't they then? I mean, 2 + 2 doesn't equal 8.
Contracts, hospital contracts. Like even my hematologist I have, he's been my hematologist for the last 18 years. The only hospital he could come in is Baptist. But I was neglected at Baptist, so I choose not to go to Baptist.
But but by choosing not to go to, I'm being transparent, by choosing not to go to Baptist, even though he could come to Baptist, when you went to Sacred Heart, then you got even more treatment of being not treated. Weigh that out.
No, Sacred Heart, my treatment is better, and he can't come there because the contract is voided between him and their particular company that he works for, particular doctor's office. It's voided. So my treatment is better at a hospital he don't go to.
Change doctors. I'm just being transparent.
Well, there's not enough.
No, it's not that
not
easy.
enough doctors. Yeah.
It's so deep, Sunshine.
Yeah.
You scratching the surface in an hour. It's deep. It's deep, deep, deep. Far as my doctor, like for instance, I love my doctor so much. He's amazing. He takes great care of me.
What's his name?
He can call Dr. Shalish Patel. The
Hi,
best
Dr. Patel.
at Woodlands Medical Specialist. He's the best. He could put something in the system. Just give an example. And if he can't come in and doctor's on call, they could choose not to follow those orders. This how deep this run. They could say, well, I don't want to do that. I'm the doctor on call right now, so this is what I'm going to do.
And with your documentation, you can't get that changed.
I'm telling you, this is deep. It's deep.
Really? So what are you going to do?
That's why our hands been tied for so many years. You got to keep fighting.
That's why we're called warriors. That's why they're called warriors.
Yeah. Literally, it's a war. We're literally fighting. Physically, medically, all that. Emotionally,
do not know this,
mentally.
Do they not realize this is a terminal illness?
Yeah.
But they say, oh, well, some of you have been able to manage it. Some of you don't have, yes.
Yeah, because
nobody didn't say some of you.
Some of you. Some of you.
And see, I'm one, I don't go a lot. So I feel bad, like for the patient we were dealing with, the whole month of September, she was back and forth at the ER. And because they noticed that, this time when she came back this past weekend, they didn't trust giving her medication because she came back and forth because she had just lost a loved one. So us losing a loved one can trigger a crisis, a flare-up, stress. And because she came so much in September, when she came this past weekend, they basically told her, oh, we're not going to give you that. You didn't came too much to the hospital. And you try to stick to the same hospital so you don't look like you're drug seeking, and they still would do this. Like me, I don't hospital hop. I choose when I stick with it. I've been with Sacred Heart since I was born. That's where I go. Even when my doctor not being there, he knows Dr. Patel, this is where I'm going to go. Okay, just keep me posted on what's going on. If you need anything, I could try to move.
How long does the crisis last when you're really into a deep crisis?
Deep crisis can last you from weeks to months. It could be months. I think the longest one I had, ICU almost killed me, was 4 months. I was in the hospital 4 months.
Oh, Jesus. Listen, everybody. Now, this is coming up this weekend. It's only from 4 to 7, so it's not going to take you a whole day. And it's not a gown situation. Come out dressed, casually.
Nice.
Be nice. Come out dressed casually.
Have dinner with us.
Have dinner with us.
Yes.
And eat some knowledge and eat some food, if you understand what I'm saying. But the fact of it is, it's only $25 that you can get in there, so you can listen to Dr. Henry. You can listen to the young lady from Birmingham, Alabama. You can listen to my good friend Carlos, because he's a talker.
Yes.
But no, he's knowledgeable and he's passionate about it, and that's what we're trying to get you to be as well. Be
and I'm speaking too.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, baby.
Me to the curve.
No, no, I've been knowing this young thing here forever. Okay, maybe she's going to be speaking. She's going to be telling about her stories as well to give out this information. So what are we asking of you? We got, man, but when you say an hour go by so fast, he's talking to me, hurry up. I mean, this weekend, log onto our Facebook page, get that information again so they can get the tickets.
www.werainscc.com.
Or log on to
Facebook.
Facebook is there. I've shared it so many times, it's unbelievable. But I'll be there. I'm going to be your host for this event. We are going to talk. We are going to learn. We're going to educate. Now, I ask that you come out and be a part of it. You see, when it comes to making a difference in our community, all you got to do is call. Because if I can do anything to make it better, I'm going to give up my services, the gift that God gave me. I'm going to use it. So please, this weekend, Shaquansia's going to be there. Dr. Henry's going to be there. Birmingham, Alabama. Shatina's going to be there. Carlos going to be there. And of course, you will be there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to please take this information. Do not take this lightly. You hear people that are walking with it every day. Her daughter deals with it every day at 9 years old. If there is a stigma that's there that they have elated to, then we need to do something to make a difference. We need to not be overlooked because of the fact that it's a disease that affects our community. And how we're going to do that? We got to say something and do something. Listen, I'll leave you as I do every single day, and I mean this from my heart. Please know that whatever you do, don't ever lose your focus. I don't care who's around you. Don't lose your focus. Always remember, if you keep God first in any and everything that you do, I'll guarantee you this, you will be a total success. So until tomorrow morning for another day of sunshine right here at Sunshine's Corner, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone, and join us Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock right at the Pensacola Improv Event Center with Get the Knowledge You Need to Know. It's a
know your status.
Be there. Know your status this weekend. We'll see you then.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.